Today, we're taking a look at Synthesizer V Studio from Dreamtonics. Synthesizer V Studio allows you to import MIDI or audio and have that note information. And if you import audio with lyrics on it, import the words. And then you can further manipulate the vocal performance. Let's take a look at the controls. There is a lot, and I mean a lot, of control that it gives you. Pan and volume are located here, your standard mute and solo. This hamburger menu allows you to create a new track or create a new instrumental track. You can also right-click in the blank area. So creating a new track, that is where the voice goes, right? That's where you select the voice. Creating a new instrumental track, that is where you import the audio files from. And these are all of the supported audio files here in the drop-down menu. And when you import an audio file, you get this. So this is the actual audio wave file. Now this has already been imported, but when you right-click on this wave file now, you hit extract notes if it's an audio file, and you get voice to MIDI conversion. This is where it will take the pitch and the words and import them into the program. So if I click OK, it analyzes the audio and it spits out a track with this information in it. That's this track here. The piano roll will show you further what it has extracted. So the notes and the words, depending on how articulate you are with your words, some words may not be understood by the program as actual words, and it will try its best to transcribe what it's hearing. Over here to the right is the voice panel. Now with the voice panel, language, right? We have a number of languages in here to select from. Preset, this is the style as a whole of how you want the singer to sing, right? You can do soulful, soft, warm, bold. There may be more vocal modes coming, I'm not sure. Parameters is how much adjustment you want to do for that vocal performance. So loudness, tension, breathiness, gender, and tone shift. So this is overall for that track, right? Got tuning options down here, and then the synthesis engine that you prefer, whether it's speed or quality, right? So it's various options in here to really dig into how you want the performance itself to sound, right? Pitch transitions, so how quick, right? And how long you want, or how much I should say you want the pitch transitions. The vibratos, you can choose how you want those to be interpreted as well. And then the next panel here is the retake option. So this allows you to have various takes for your parts, right? You can switch between them, and I believe in the pro version you can have as many takes as you so please. Timbre as well as pitch. This is where you get down and dirty. So if I open up the piano roll, you can change the properties for every note. Now we have a manual and we have an automatic option. I've been using the manual option pretty much for the entire thing here, but this allows you to modify several processes in here on a per note basis. Now, manual has to be selected if you want to get down to the nitty-gritty. Otherwise, you use the automatic options when that's not selected. And you can also change the voice type to rap intonation, which means it'll be a little bit more wordy or a little less singy, but you'll still keep notes. You'll still keep the note properties, the pitches, I should say. Now, I haven't even tried to mess with any of this because it's just a little more advanced than what I was prepared for. But these are options, all right? When you're in the manual mode, you get far more greater control over that note. Very, very, very powerful. This is the library of notes and/or words that you pulled from the imported audio. So you can actually change any one of the tracks to what you have here. So if I drag that into the system here, you can see that that's different than what we have here. So this is the library of transcribed and voice to MIDI note information. So it stores that. So if you want to try something on a new track, you can do that, right? Here we have the dictionary. Now I have not touched this, so I've been using the defaults from the program, and there's no extra options right now for me to even choose. But if there were additional words and pronunciations stored in a dictionary database, I can import that here. I can also go to new, give it a name. And now we can proceed to add words and phenoms that tie into those words. So this is the render panel. This allows you to actually bounce your files to an actual audio file with various options down here to select the output format. The cloud panel, this is where you do updates. It's also where you kind of handle the management of the voices that you have in the system itself. During my usage, there was one update to, I believe it was either Natalie or May, but it does the updates right in the software itself. Finally, we have the settings panel for the plugin overall. So this is where you would go in and you would modify various things to your liking to get the program to work the way you want it to work, right? If you're looking for how to separate the tracks into their own outputs for your DAW, you do that here. It comes by default under Master Combine, which means all of the tracks are under one stereo output. Master Aspiration means that it's two stereo outputs, one for the tonal, one for the non-tonal. That's breaths, ums, stuff like that. And then you have Track Combine, where the non-tonal and the tonal tracks, you have 16 outputs in total. And of course, Track Aspiration separates the non-tonal parts from the tonal parts and outputs those onto a separate track. Various options for the editor and various options for the parameters in here as well. All right, now the one I do want to point out that was vital to me using the program is the keyboard shortcuts down here. And so you can modify the shortcuts for the options that you have here. One of those things was the simplify parameters. Now what this is when you select a number of points for the pitch deviation. First of all, when it imports it in here, you can see there's a lot of points here. There are some points that you would consider to be unnecessary, right? Like this point and that point do not add anything to the motion from here, not anything significant. So you really only need this point and this point, right? So you would delete this point, but you don't want to have to go through and delete all of these unnecessary extra points. So I have the shortcut set to S. So when I select all of these points and I hit S, you see it reduces the number of points to a much more simpler number of points. Sometimes you can do it a couple of times and it'll even reduce it more. But when you hit the shortcut key for that and it no longer unselects, that means it has done the maximum number of simplification that it can. Very handy in this regards. So that's the panels to the right. I want to talk about a deeper level of control that we'll truly dive into, and I'll show you some of it in this video. So we have the option in the piano roll here to add the parameter panel. And this is where it gets deeper for the level of control that you can have. Clicking the arrangement arrow will minimize the arrangement and maximize the piano roll here. So we'll bring this up some so we can see what's going on here a little more clear. Right now, down in this area, you have several options. This is the multi-editing tool. This allows you to do freehand writing, right? So I can go in here and just modify stuff this way rather than doing it by points. Or we can do a line if you wish to do something like this. It'll do the necessary interpolations as seen fit. You also have these three options for how you wish to deal with the points and how they're interpreted. So this is lines. This is straight lines. So from one point to another, it's a line. This is a smoother option, right? It's called a cosine. So it's more like an S from the beginning of the point to the next point. And then you have this, it's adaptive. I have kept it on adaptive thus far. Then you have the ability to zoom out either by 2 times or by 4 times. And this is necessary because the view can get, as you can see at the lower half here, it can get past the available area to modify. So when you run into that issue, there's no scrolling of this particular screen. Then you can just zoom out to get it back into view. Now, this edit section, this is powerful because this allows you to modify the parameters, all of the bass parameters. So we have pitch, deviation, vibrato, envelope, loudness, tension, breathiness, voicing, gender, tone shift, rap intonation, and then you can change the vocal mode. And all of this is on a per note basis. And you literally, even with one note, can switch between these various parameters here. Now, this here is the display. So you can have what you're editing. Let's say I'm doing tension, but you want in the background to display something different. So if I go to pitch deviation, now in the background, it'll show me what the pitch deviation is doing. And what this allows you to do is to modify the actual edit parameter in light of what you have in the background for another parameter. Now, with this, we can also add an additional parameter to have on here all at once. As a matter of fact, you can add a total of 3 parameters. So I can have the pitch deviation at the top, the loudness here, and then the tension. And I can modify each one of these on screen as I'm working. Just allows a more intuitive level of control. So you can see how deep this program can get. I can't cover everything because we'll be sitting here for hours because it is that deep. So this top track, this is the original lead that we created. I have actually done an additional track here, which I wanted to experiment with some of the advanced features. So we have all of the tracks in here. These are all of the harmony parts. There is the original audio tracks.
Time waits for no man, no matter who you are. Caught on a drift of lowlands, reaching for what's afar. But every step you take feels like a setback, and every breath you take, still there's a step back.
There is a line in here that I realized I wanted to change. So the line is here. Instead of me going back and re-singing that, I can just change the wording in here. So the line here.
But every step you take
is fine, every step you take. But I also have down here the word take again.
in every breath you take.
I wanted to make a distinction between these two parts. We're going to change this to make instead.
But every step you make.
That was a little hard, wasn't it? So what we need to do, and you can actually see it here, I probably need to bring that down. So let me select the multi-tool, and I think we can just delete that line.
But every step you make.
There we go. Nice and clean. Now, let me explain what just happened here. The word take, that T is hard, right?
You take.
So there's more emphasis when I originally sang that. And so by me changing it to make, it changed the word, but it didn't change the deviation. So deleting that gets it smoother.
You make.
There you have it. There were some issues with the word you that I realized that it really was pronouncing that yeah real hard. So let me turn the audio on here. Let's take a look at this. If I pull this back, what happens?
in every breath you take.
Perfect. Now, there is a couple of parts in here that are different from the way that I originally sang it because I had shifted the timing. The way that I sung it on the record, it was a part that was off as far as timing, and I purposely did it that way, but it didn't translate very well within Synthesizer V. So you may still hear a little bit off in here as I need to continue to adjust it. But I'm going to play the music with the lead.
Time waits for no man, no matter who you are. Caught in a drift of lowlands, reaching forward so far. But every step you make feels like a setback.
Wow.
In every breath you take, still there's a step back.
That's amazing, man. All right. If I play this back, I'm going to play it from here.
Caught in a drift of lowland.
Now, this is how the original one read what I was saying, right? Now, sometimes you look at this and think that the words are wrong, and in some cases they are. However, what I've noticed is that it's not always important that the words be spelled out as perfect English here, because that's the language we're using. Like all of this works. It's caught. See, I don't speak perfect English. I don't say caught in a drift. I say caught in a drift, right? Put all of those words together because they flow smooth like that. So these first three words are fine, but it interpreted what I said here as drift and not drift.
Caught in a drift of lowland.
And then it missed the S, or I simply did not pronounce it loud enough for it to pick it up.
Caught in a drift of lowlands.
Right? There we go. Now, as you can hear,
Caught in a drift of...
it should be caught in a drift of lowlands. Do, 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 do. There should be very little pitch deviation going on here. Right? So I am going to adjust these upwards and downwards. So I want everything to kind of be closer to the line because that represents the actual note that the bars are sitting on. Hopefully it doesn't sound auto-tunish. I definitely don't want it to sound auto-tunish. I'm going to delete that one. And then I'm going to zoom in here some. So all we're working on right now is just these two.
Caught in a drift of lowlands.
Now I do hear some weirdness here. What I want to avoid is sharp lines, right? I only want those to happen in between words. But when the words are really connected, you want to avoid sharp lines like that. That's been my experience anyway. All right, so this is way too far out. I'm going to bring that in here, bring this in there.
Caught in a drift of lowland.
Now, let me say something because you'll notice it jumps every time I play it back. What that is when you change any parameters in here that are related to the actual performance, you'll notice that the waveform lights up. That is it reprocessing, right? So keep that in mind. You want to give it a chance to reprocess first before you start playing back. All right, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to put this over here. I'm going to put him a little bit up. I'm going to put him in the middle so we have some pitch drift.
Caught in a drift of... Caught in a drift of...
Much, much better. I think I can get rid of this one. Let's see. Give it a chance.
Caught in a drift of lowlands.
Much better. So you see how you have to tweak it. You got to find what works and what doesn't. And you learn that and you pick up on that and it becomes like a second nature, right? So that's one part. Then the next part is here. Now this is pretty straightforward. There's no words on here. However, this seems a little too low. So I'm going to add an additional parameter panel. Now I have not tried this thing yet. So we're going to go to loudness. And I'm going to add a point here, a point here. Now, I did see something called breathiness. If we go the opposite direction now, let's see what happens. Let's just go to the extreme. I like taking things to their ranges to see what happens. Okay. Don't necessarily like my performance there. All right, that's fine. Now, I think another way that I can improve on this is if I change this to yeah, that's much better. Moving on. We got one more part here. Now, what I don't like from what I'm hearing, it sounds a little auto-tunish. Much better. All right, so this line, this harmony line is now good.
Caught in a drift of lowlands.
Definitely need a better sung part. The phrase is still, right? That's what we're trying to get. And it has its own interpretation.
Still getting in there.
Okay, so it's the word still stretched across all of these different syllables and pitches. That is the challenge here, to get this to say still all the way across. Now, I'm learning that the dashes, meaning to grab whatever the word is from the previous note and expand it. So we're going to put dashes across this whole thing. And then I'm going to put the word still here. I can spell it. Let's see what this does.
Still.
We got still to go all the way across. Now we got to get the pitch transitions, right?
Still.
All right, so what I'm hearing, something is a little off.
Still.
So it has to be slightly above. Okay. All together now, class?
Still.
It could still be tweaked some more, but I'm not going to spend all day on it. All right, I'm on a hunt for something. I believe the software can do this, but this note feels right here, right?
Feels
I need a little bit more grunge on that, right? Down here. Tension.
feels like a
Okay.
feels
Wait a minute now, lady.
feels like a setback.
Ooh.
Feels like a setback.
Yes. What I've just done is add tension to the word feels. So we went down here and we modified the tension. I wonder if we do breathiness with that as well.
Feels like a
Okay, wait a minute now.
feels like a setback.
Not so much breathiness, but I wanna hear her.
But every step you make feels like a setback.
Yes, that sounds like she meant that. And I'm sure I can tweak it even more. Rap intonation. So I would have to put this on rap.
Feels like a
Ooh. Oh my goodness. That's what I was looking for. Like she meant it.
But every step you make feels like a setback.
Wait a minute, woman. We gonna bring the breathiness down.
But every step you make feels like a setback.
That's crazy, bruh.
But every step you make feels like a setback.
Get some rap intonation on that. Ooh. Boy, that's crazy. I never would have thought to do that.
But every step
So I wanted to go up. Feels like a setback.
But every step you make feels like a setback.
Yes.
And
That's wild. Now that I know that that does that, when I go to vocal mode, I wanted to go just the opposite. All right, just the opposite. So let's go to soft. And I want her to be real soft when she get here.
still there's a step back.
All right, so some contrast in here.
Time waits for no man, no matter who you are. Caught in a drift of lowlands, reaching for what's afar. But every step you make feels like a setback. In every breath you take, still there's a step back.
Now I'm going to turn on Vocoflex. I'm curious. I still have not re-imported the Sunny Velvet voice, but I am going to see just out of curiosity what this sounds like.
Time waits for no man, no matter who you are.
That's still pretty amazing.
Caught in a drift of lowlands, reaching for what's afar. But every step you make feels like a setback. In every breath you take, still there's a step back.
Now, right now, it doesn't necessarily sound like me because, again, this was a 2-minute analyzed audio track. But I do want to test out some additional voices in here. Let me try smooth, mellow baritone.
Time waits for no man,
Okay.
no matter who you are.
Let me add another one.
Caught in a drift of lowlands, reaching for what's afar. But every step you make feels like a setback.
That's not what I wanted.
In every breath you take,
Still there's a step back. Time waits for no man, no matter who you are. Caught in a drift of lowlands.
I think this is more along the lines of my vocal. So let's see here. Let's pull up Sunny Velvet again. Sonorous. Okay, I think these two may work together. So let me see.
Time waits for no man, no matter who you are. Caught in a drift of lowlands, reaching for what's afar.
Yes.
But every step you make feels like a setback.
That's pretty cool,
In
man.
every breath you take,
Now, mind you, you're not listening to Synthesizer V. You're listening to Vocoflex with Synthesizer V instructing Vocoflex what to sing. So then we can go in here and continue to manipulate everything and use the voice from Vocoflex instead of the one from Synthesizer V. As a reminder, here is the original audio tracks.
time waits for no man, no matter who you are. Caught on a drift of lowlands, reaching for what's afar. But every step you take feels like a setback. In every breath you take, still there's a step back.
Time waits for no man, no matter who you are. Caught in a drift of lowlands, reaching for what's afar. When every step you make feels like a setback. In every breath you take, still there's there's a step back.
So that's my review of Synthesizer V Studio Pro. In my opinion, this is a wonderful program for songwriters and producers, and you've seen how I've used it through the review. If you would like to get a copy of Synthesizer V Studio Pro, check the link in the description. They also offer a free basic version that is stripped down from all of the advanced features. One of those you don't get with the free version is the plugin. Outside of that,